Hey, welcome back to my channel. My name is Meg, and today I want to get started on another 3 looks, 1 palette video. These take so much work, but they are so much fun to do, and I really just am itching to do another one. And there's been a lot of requests to do it with this palette, so it's going to be none other than the Gargoyle palette from Unearthly Cosmetics. So if you want to see what 3 looks I create with this, then keep on watching. All right, got you guys all zoomed in to start look number 1, and we're gonna jump right into it. I want to take this gorgeous like sage green here called Grim Morning, and I'm gonna grab that on this Milk Cosmetics blending brush, and we're just gonna start placing that all on like the inner kind of corner area to create a little like background color. So I'm going to go in lightly. We can always amp it up more, but I do want this to be like a soft shade here. I want there to definitely be color, but I don't want it to be too intense. All right, then jumping away from shadows for a second, I want to create sort of this kind of cutout shape where I'm going to go like from dark and then like fade it out again into some lighter shades. And to create that initial shape, I'm going to go in with the gel liner. I love using the Milk Cosmetics gel liners to not only use for like actual like liner and stuff, but they're great as like bases, especially when you're doing like some really like structured work. So this is one of their gel liners in the shade Slate. It's just like this beautiful deep blue. And I'm just taking this on like this like flat round like paint brush. It's not an actual makeup brush. If you've watched any of my videos, you've seen me use these kind of brushes a million times. And we're just gonna start creating a shape. I'm not too worried about like the stuff on this side because I can blend it out, but I really want to try to keep the other part crisp. All right, I'm going to take this small angled brush. It's just a like angled brow brush kind of thing from, this one's from KVD Beauty. It's number 70. I think they're discontinuing this, or like did discontinue it. I know it's on clearance at Sephora right now. That's why I bought 2 more because it's my favorite brush. And I'm going to just dip that into the gel liner and just try to help kind of clean up this outside line a bit. All right, and then before this like completely dries down, I want to jump right into a shadow. So I'm going to take this dark blue here called Darkest Hour, and just on another one of these flat round brushes, I'm going to start stamping that right over the gel liner and like dragging it out. All right, I hope I haven't had like the mirror in this shot too much, but I'm also doing like some detailed work, so I need to have like the mirror close. Okay. And then I'm gonna grab another brush. This is an e.l.f. Just this eyeshadow brush, but like it's like a flat packer. I'm gonna dip into that Darkest Hour shade and just try to start like blending this out onto the lid a bit more, so it's not as much of a harsh line from when where the liner stops. And then I think technically for like the rest of the lid, we're gonna go in with this gorgeous blue here called Veil. And I'm just taking that on this other Milk Cosmetics brush. I'm just gonna start putting that right beside that other shade, and then also just pulling it out too. And just making sure there's no more product on this brush. I'm just gonna start trying to blend out a little bit just so it diffuses. How pretty is that? All right, and then I'm gonna go in with some NYX glitter glue, and I'm gonna take that on my finger. This might not be the best idea with fake nails on, but we're gonna stamp this in the middle, kind of going up. It's okay if it goes like a bit past where the shadow is. And then I'm gonna dip into this beautiful shade in the top row called Awaken. Just like a very like, it's like almost like your typical kind of like unicorn sort of shade. And I'm going to stamp that like right on top where we put the NYX glitter glue. All right, and then grabbing this Luxie brush, oh, I thought it was a Luxie brush. All right, and then grabbing this Morphe brush. I don't even know if this has a number. I can't see one. Anyways, it's just like a regular angle brush. I'm gonna dip back into that Darkest Hour shade, and we're just gonna start stamping along. I put some of the gel liner into my lash line, like my waterline and lash line, and we're just going to stamp this on top. On the outside, just a tinge. Like I still want it to be like this lighter shade in the outer corner, but just to add a bit of depth. And then grabbing another Morphe brush, this is an M411, and we're going to dip into that Grim Morning shade, so that very first shade we used in the inner corner, and we're just going to start tucking this below that Darkest Hour shade, just to like add a little bit more of that into the look. And then we're going to take another brush. This is a Morphe M213, and I'm just going to dip into that Awaken shade. Actually, you know what? No, I'm going to dip into this shade, which I think I used in like my first impression look. And it's Eerie Echoes. It's just sort of this like light green. And we're just going to start placing that on like the inner corner lower lash line. Just like that, just to add a little extra sparkle. All right, I'm gonna go attempt to do this on the other eye, and we'll come back. I'll have like lashes, a lip, all that on, and we'll just show off the finished first look. So here she is, look number one. I am so stoked with how this turned out. I just think it's fun with like the really like intense dark kind of cut in the front and then like fading out. I guess it's like almost like a reverse smoky eye. I don't know if that's like the proper terminology for it. I'm sort of struggling with this lash on this eye, but I also don't want to bother at it too much because then my eyes are going to start to water and it's going to be a hot mess. But I'm really happy with how this turned out. There were 3 glosses that came with the collection. Where did I put the one that I just put on my lips today? There it is. So I thought I would try to do one with each look. So with this one, I went with the lightest one, which is sort of like this like clear opalescent sparkly gorgeousness, and it's called Twilight Whisper, and I just put that on without any liner or anything, but I bet this would really like enhance, like, you know, like put on some liner and it would just like enhance whatever shade that is, or put it on top of another lipstick or something. That'd be gorgeous too. But I just wanted to go purely with this. Such a bold eye. I just thought it'd be really cute to like have just a nice sparkly glossy lip. But yeah, that's look number one. Love how it turned out. Some accessory details. I'm wearing these earrings from Darling Ltd. I will have her shop linked in the description box below. That's really where the accessory details end because I'm only wearing earrings, no other jewelry. But yeah, if you liked this, then hopefully you stick around for the next 2 looks. Let's get to it. Okay, ready for look number 2. So today I think I want to do like sort of like a smoky eye with one of the shimmers in the middle, and then I think we might introduce like some like just like gem accents around it. But I just kind of have this sort of smoky vibe in my head, and I want to see if I can do that. And I'm sure with these colors, I think we could achieve that. So to start off with, I'm going to go into Cathedral Shadows. This is the black in here. To make this even like more intense, a great thing to do would be to grab like a gel, like a base or something in black to lay down, just so you get like a real black. But I don't feel like doing that. I'm feeling lazy. It's later at night and I just don't want to go that far. But if you want to kick this up a notch and like really intensify the black, that would be my suggestion. But I'm just going to jump right in with the shadow, and I'm using this like just like flat Jessup kind of packer brush. And we're going to go in, just making sure my base is all stamped out. We're just going to like lay this like all over the lid. I'm not as worried about like, you know, how it looks in the middle. Like I said earlier, we are going to be covering that up, but I think just having like the black base is going to be really great for whatever shimmer we put down. All right, and then we're going to start building out from that, and I want to go in with Sinister Figure. This is just this beautiful, I guess like burgundy or eggplant, or I don't really know. Anyways, I'm going to take that on a Morphe M506. It's just like a small blending brush. We're just going to start blending around the edges. Oh, love how those colors go together. And I'm like partially both laying it down and also like lightly starting to blend it out a bit. All right, and then just to try to like blend all that out a little bit more, I want to go in with the lightest matte in the palette here, and that is Gothic Grace. It's just like a pale brown, pale tan, I don't know. And I'm taking that on this Luxie 235 blending brush. And we're just going to start laying that kind of on the edges just to kind of help soften. So now I'm just going to like go, and I'm going to like go back and forth between the shades just to like make sure I have like the blend and depth that I want. You know the drill. So we're just going to go back in, same brushes that we used for each shade, and just finesse it. So just before I go to catch up the other eye, just like look at the difference between like just kind of like, obviously it's way more like blown out, and just taking the time to kind of like blend it out and just go back and forth. There's just like a way smoother blend, and you can just get everything blown out more and even. I don't know where I'm going with this, but I just wanted to show the comparison. Then I'm going to take an angled brush and some gel liner. This is Onyx by Milk Cosmetics. And I'm just going to use this for my waterline and my lower lash line just before we start like smoking out down there. And then I'm even gonna like place a bit of this right along. This probably wouldn't have been a bad thing to, even if I wasn't doing my whole lid, to do even before the shadow, which is right along my lash line at the top there, just to help make sure that everything's looking really nice. Because if you look between the two, like there's definitely like a little bit of gapping there with the lashes, whereas I feel like it's a lot more seamless on this eye. And then grabbing a small brush, this is an e.l.f., it says concealer brush, but it always gives me such a kick because like it is tiny. Like maybe it's like meant for like dotting blemishes and stuff, and that's what they mean by concealer, but it's not what I think of when I hear concealer. But we're just going to go into Cathedral Shadows and just start stamping that along where we have laid down the gel liner. All right, and I am wanting a bit more of like a smoky lower lash than what I've been going for lately. So I'm going to take that same little blending brush that we used with Sinister Figure earlier and dip back into that shade. And we're just going to start working on pulling this blend down. We'll do a little bit and then we'll kind of do more and more and more until it's where I want it. I think I'm pretty happy with how that looks. I think this would be like a great base look too if like you were doing like some sort of like ghoulish look for spooky season. I don't know when or even if this season I'm gonna do any like specifically Halloween looks. I just have not been in the mindset, and just I don't know. I don't want to force it. So we'll see what happens. But anyways, but that's what I'm feeling with this look. I feel like it's very like ghoul, and I am digging it. But now we want to put on some shimmer, and this is kind of why I also, one, I was lazy, and then two, I knew I wanted to use my fingers, so no press-ons today. And we're going to just stick this glitter glue, slap it all over the lid. Okay, then we're going to go in with this gorgeous purple shade here, which is Forgotten Fortress. And I'm just going to go right in with my finger and we're going to stamp it all over the lid. All right, that is pretty much it. I'm going to come back and just kind of have like the jewels and that like gems on. Like, I just don't feel like I'm kind of the person to learn about application, and I don't really care about watching people put gems on, so I can't really see you wanting to watch me do it. So we're gonna just come back when it's all on and finished and show you the finished look. So be right back. Here she is, look number 2. I love like this smoky purple kind of celestial witch vibes. I am digging it. It made me want to put on my well, like I guess like kind of witchy snake earrings. These iridescent gorgeous ones are from Darling Ltd. Like I said in my other look, I will have the shop linked in my description. Absolutely love her stuff. But yeah, this is how the look turned out. I'm really happy with it. It was fun just throwing on like some gems and having some fun with it. Went with my much beloved Ione Foxy Half Lashes, and then the gloss I used this time from the collection is Gargoyle's Gloom. It's just this gorgeous purpley iridescent one, and I adore it. But yeah, without further ado, let's just move on to look number 3. Ready for look number 3. So I want to do sort of like a bit of like color in the inner corner and then like a winged out kind of gradient, and then I think I want to like accent it with a pop of liner. I've done like a kind of shape like this before, but I want to play with the color, like, you know, color palette with this palette. So I think I want to use some of the shades we haven't really used yet. Like, we have used a lot of the shades already. I'm definitely going to use some of Cathedral Shadows just because it's the black, so that kind of just goes hand in hand with just about every color story. But I definitely want to like use like more of these like browns, and also like utilize this gorgeous shade here, Guardian. It looks very gold, but it also looks like it's got like a lot of holographic sparkle to it. So I really love that. Maybe even draw in a little bit of menacing as well, but we'll see. And then I thought I would kind of highlight that with like a pop of liner or something, just to add that bit of like pop of color in there with that. But yeah, let's just jump into it and get going. So I'm going to start building the shape, and for that I'm going to take this Morphe JH42. It's just a small, it'll focus, a small rounded brush, and we're going to dip into Cathedral Shadows. I'm just going to start putting that on the inner part. And again, like, we'll clean up, and well, again, I didn't say that yet, but we will clean up like the inside, so I'm not, and we'll put liner down, so I'm not as worried about like this edge here. I just want to sort out where I want the initial color to go. And I think for right now, that'll be it for that. And then just while we have this shade, I also want to start building the outer corner, which potentially would be better with a different brush, but we're gonna go for it. And I want this to be low enough that it does kind of come down to like the lower lash line here. And we're just gonna like drag that out a bit. And then also drag it this way a little bit, just to create like this sort of tip and outer part of the wing. And we're gonna be like redefining it with the liner, so I'm not worried about like exactly how crisp the wing is, but I don't want it to be like too blunt either. And then to continue building on this, I'm going to grab, it's basically just like the last brush we used, but it's just not one of the collab ones. So it's a Morphe M213. So again, it's just like this like flat round brush. And we're going to dip into the deeper brown here called Perched and start building on top of that initial shadow that we built. Just put like the kids to sleep, but I can still hear them because of course it's not like they pass out immediately. And my oldest, who is 6, has been obsessed with singing, not the whole song because he doesn't know the whole song, but just like the chorus, like a couple lines from I Was Made for Loving You. Technically it's like the Kiss song, but the version he's been hearing a lot because I've been playing it like crazy is the one from Fall Guy. Which I think the Kiss version is in there too, but I've been obsessed with the Youngblood cover of it. And all of a sudden, like the other day, my 6-year-old was sitting there and he just started belting I Was Made for Loving You, baby, at the top of his lungs. And it was just like the cutest freaking thing ever. All right, next I'm going to go with something slightly more fluffy but still small because I'm just trying to like be very careful with the placement of my shadows. And this is a Luxie 151 Mini Flat. So it's just sort of like a flat kind of pencil brush. And we're going to go into this like medium brown here called Ancient Spire. I'm going to dip lightly into that and continue working on the blend. Like where we were like just kind of placing color before, now I'm actually starting to blend it a little bit. We'll still go back and forth and like work on the blend between all the shades, but now I want to start diffusing it a bit more. All right, and then another small brush, we're going to go in with the Morphe JH39, which is a little bit more of a typical pencil brush, maybe just not as pointed. And we're going to go into the lightest shade, which is this one right here, which is called Gothic Grace. And you guessed it, we're just going to like blend out kind of the edges. Oops. Trying to go over my brows too much. I don't really, like, it's such a light shade that I'm putting it right here, but I don't know if I'm really going to worry about how much it is right there. I think when I go back to like blend, I might drag that Ancient Spire shade more in. Drag everything maybe a bit more in, just because this is basically like kind of my skin tone. So it's great for like blending out, kind of almost utilizing like how you would a white shade, but it's not really adding any pigmentation. Like I'm going to put it here just because I did it on the other side, but I think we'll drag everything in more and then we'll go on the shimmer. So I went ahead, once I had like gotten the blend I wanted done, I went ahead and like cleaned up under this line just to make it a little bit more crisp. And then I also went ahead and applied some NYX glitter glue like I always do before every shimmer. And I'm going to go directly in with the same brush I used to apply that, which is a ColourPop No Number. I think it was like from their early days of brushes, so there wasn't numbers on them. And we're going to go in with our shimmer here, which is Guardian. Sorry, suddenly my throat is like feeling like not sore, but like very raspy. So pardon my throat clearing, but we're going to go in and put this all over this inner part. Hopefully that is picking up just how gorgeous the shade is. Now we're going to start working on the lower lash line. I'm going to take this double-ended, I think it's supposed to be like a brow brush. I don't really know exactly what you use this for your brows, but it is by Chica Beauty and it's their dual-ended brow. But I want to use the angled brow end to dip into some black gel liner. This is Onyx from Melt Cosmetics. And we're going to put that in my waterline and also kind of into the lash line too, just so we can help blend any shades down here. Then I'm going to use that same little kind of flat rounded brush that we used with Cathedral Shadows in the beginning. And I'm going to put a little bit more shadow on the tip. And we're just going to start running that along where we placed the gel liner. And then I'm going to take some of Ancient Spire. We're just going to run that right below. All right, and then we are going to, I placed a little bit of glitter glue like right in this kind of inner corner on the lower lash. I always love placing a bit more shimmer there, and I want to go back into this gorgeous shade Mystic Stone. I just think the purpley pink tones will be a fun little pop. All right, I think that's kind of as far as we're gonna get like on camera with this look. All I'm gonna do is I'm going to go add some liner, which I just can't do liner to save my life on camera. It's just too difficult. I have to get really close to the mirror. So I'm gonna do that off camera, but I'm essentially gonna like outline the wing and then like go underneath this part here. And then I'm gonna throw on like, you know, like mascara, lashes, a lip, and we'll come back and show you the final look. All right, third and final look is done. I love how this turned out. I think it's just a nice kind of edgy twist on a neutral look. You know, we are using browns and stuff for the shadows, but with, I think with like the pop of purple for the liner, and then just also pairing it with this like deep brown lip. Couldn't resist, which by the way, my lip combo is from, it's a lippy pencil from ColourPop and it is in the shade Pitch. And then it is a matte lipstick from Melt Cosmetics in the shade XXX. It's just this beautiful, deep, chocolatey brown, and I love it. I don't utilize dark browns for lips enough, and I really think I need to start using them more. But yeah, that is the look. If you want to know, my earrings are from Regal Rose. I absolutely love that shop. It's probably one of my more favorite, aside from Darling Ltd, one of my favorite earring shops to shop at, and other jewelry as well. But yeah, that wraps up another 3 looks, 1 palette, this time using the Gargoyle palette from Unearthly Cosmetics. It was so much fun going on this journey of just really delving into this color story. I'm pretty sure we used just about every single color between all 3 looks. So I think that's pretty amazing. And that's one of the fun things about doing these 3 looks, 1 palette videos, is just really diving into the palette color story and trying to utilize every aspect of it. I don't necessarily normally gravitate towards using like the browns and stuff in a palette, but I was like, hey, like we can't do every look just with like the blues and grays and stuff like that. So I really wanted to utilize everything the best I could. And I'm happy with what I did. I think I succeeded with that. Hope you enjoyed this. If you did, I'd greatly appreciate if you gave the video a thumbs up, comment down below, subscribe. Always let me know if there's any palettes you'd love to see me do any 3 look, 1 palette videos with, even if it's an older palette. If I have it and I have the time to do it, I will definitely do my best to get that done. Or if it's a palette where, you know, maybe I don't feel like I can do like 3 looks with it, suggest a palette you want to see me play with, and I can try to at least do a look with it. I love digging out older palettes from my collection and being inspired with what to use. I love being inspired by you guys as to what to do next. If you aren't already, follow me on my other socials, Spooky Mama Glam on TikTok and Instagram. I couldn't remember what it was called for a second there. But yeah, it's just getting later in the night, and I'm also trying to wrap this up before my kids start getting really loud again. They're in bed, but my one kid is still making siren noises, so I'm hoping that I have not caught any of that in this video. I hope you enjoyed this this addition to this series, and I will catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye.